Hello, welcome everyone inside the Chris Evans podcast. Joined today with Lady J head basketball coach Breck Clark, and Lady J's off to a good start, and we're going to talk about that. Kind of meet you. We should have done this probably in the summertime when you first hired, but nonetheless, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so tell us a little about Breck Clark. We did a little bio, Dale girl.
Yes.
So Dale's still playing some good basketball right now. I think they're number one in 2A. So
yeah, their girls and boys are number one in 2A, which is pretty exciting. So, you know, it's kind of nice to see that from the hometown. They've always had a good reputation, so I'm proud of them.
Yeah,
so.
It was weird because being a baseball guy, I know Dale played baseball. I was like, oh, they play basketball too. I know they did, but they're pretty good in basketball. State champions in boys last year.
Yep, they are, and I think they'll have a pretty good chance of it, this year as well. So that's exciting. And the girls will have a good chance too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, you were there. Any state titles at Dale?
We did. We won my freshman year, and then we made it to state junior year, or my junior and senior year as well. So. Almost had it, but we did win it my freshman year, so that was exciting. It's
really hard. It's a reminder how hard championships are to win on any level.
Very hard, yes. You could have the best record in the whole entire, season, undefeated, whatever, and then somebody you didn't even expect will just come up and just have one of those nights, and then that's it.
It's about playing good at the right time.
Exactly, yep.
So after high school, college, played some college basketball?
Yep. So I played junior college at Northern Oklahoma in Enid under Coach Morris.
Okay.
And then I was a junior college All-American there. We went to nationals. We had a really good, 2 years. And then I went on to play at Texas Arlington for 2 years under Coach Gerlich. So it was good. It was a good college run.
So growing up, was it always basketball? Basketball?
I played a little bit of softball when I was in high school, but Dale was so dominant in softball, and I wasn't good enough to keep up with all the really good girls.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is fun, but if I'm going to focus on basketball, let me just focus on it. So, yeah, after that, kind of just focused on basketball for the last couple of years.
So you done playing basketball, you go right into coaching?
I did not. So I was a personal trainer and an assistant manager at Gold's Gym for about 2 years. So I got my certification personal training and nutrition and corrective exercise. And then after that, I was like, I really miss basketball. I want to teach. Because my mom was a teacher as well.
Okay.
So it kind of runs in our family. So I was like, I really just want to get back into it. That's where my passion is. And that's kind of when I started coaching. So I took a little bit of a break. Okay.
And your coaching stops have been before coming to Guthrie?
Right. I was at El Reno. I was the head assistant there for 3 years under Coach Jennifer Douglas. And that's the only place I've been. And then I came to Guthrie. But I also coach a boys team in the summer, H&H Elite, and they'll be 17U this summer. And that's a good group. So, and that's been different, coaching boys, and it's been a lot of learning. So that was exciting.
And we hope to visit throughout the year, throughout the season. And so I don't want to keep you too long today, but I really want to get into that maybe on another day, how coaching boys and girls and the differences, because I'm sure there are some differences. But so you Guthrie and El Reno in the same Class 5A Suburban Conference, so you know how tough this conference is. Carl, it seems like there's 4 teams on the west side that make the state tournament, 4 on the east side in 5A, and sometimes three teams of the 4 are from our conference, if you will. Carl Albert, Piedmont, El Reno has been there many times. Guthrie's hasn't been there in a while, but it is a tough, as you know right now, going through the schedule right now, a tough schedule.
It is a tough schedule. And even those teams that in our conference that haven't been the strongest over the years are good this year too. We played Noble not too long ago and they were tough, and I think, we're doing pretty good as well. So our conference across the board is just solid.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad.
Right.
So, but it's good. Yeah. It's good for us.
Okay. So 6-3, is that right?
Correct.
6-3 on the season. Talk about that. And we'll build up to the tournament win here, but, start the season off 0-2. So, you won 6 of your last 7 or 6 of your last, whatever it is, 6 games. But you start off tough with a tough tournament and tough 2 5A opponents too.
Oh, yeah.
MacArthur and Glenpool.
Right. Yeah. So they're tough. And that was a challenge for us. And even before that, in the summertime, we played all 6A teams for our camps. And we were just getting demolished. I mean, And I was looking, I'm like, we have athletes, but how do I, as a first-year head coach, I'm inexperienced, how do I bring that together? So we've really been working on, hey, you guys deserve to be here. You guys can play with these kids, And it kind of took a couple stops. Obviously, Lawton Mac was a little rough.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of lit a fire. And then when we played Glenpool, we played within 5. And they were like, oh, okay, we're pretty good. And I think that momentum, which is our word for the week, build momentum, just keep on building. I think they're actually kind of starting to buy into that and believe that. And then we played Washington within 7.
A very good, smaller class, but good.
They're very, number 3, undefeated.
Yeah.
So, I think they're starting to get it, and that's good. And then obviously we've got some couple of wins, late in the season right now. So
yeah, and one of the following EJ basketball over the years, you come in and there's a buzz of some excitement. You got more players to come out this year. I thought that was a huge win to have more girls come out for basketball, because right now our athletes, and we're adding volleyball to the junior highs, coming soon to the high school. The softball team has been very competitive, state tournaments the last couple of years, and you're starting to get more players out for basketball, and that's, I think, what's helped builds up confidence in a program.
Oh yeah, we have a JV team now, and
exactly.
From what I understand, we haven't had that in a while.
Exactly.
And they're great kids, and they're excited, and it's nice to have enough kids to actually play 5-on-5 in practice, because I don't think they've had that before, from my understanding.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot when you're trying to run through plays and see what works and see what doesn't work. Having that extra 5 people, it just helps us phenomenally. And we have 7 on the JV team right now, and they've been doing pretty good. They're learning. They're new to basketball, but it's just nice to have them there, and they're sticking it out, and they're enjoying it, from what I can tell.
Yeah. So has the transition been from learning Coach Clark and you learning the players? How's that gone?
It's gone good, actually.
Yeah.
That was one of my worries or concerns when I came here. I'm like, will they accept me? Will we get along? But I don't know if I just got lucky or what, but this group of girls is the best group of girls I've ever, been lucky enough to coach. And we have our ups and downs.
Sure.
We've got big personalities, but overall, they all get along, knock on wood. They seem like they trust me. I trust them. So it's pretty good so far.
So we talked a little bit about your schedule so far, and I don't know who makes the schedules. Maybe John Chappell does, and we'll call him up. But, man, we got to get you a home game. We got one in.
Right, yeah.
But most of them are going to be toward the end of the year. I think the next one, second home game is going to be January 24th. You're going to be like 10, 15 games into the season before you – eventually they'll come around, but that's got to be a little challenging as well.
It is, yeah. We were supposed to play Millwood our first game, and that was supposed to be a home game. But, scheduling conflicts, it didn't work. The good thing is that it is at the end, so at least when we're getting ready for playoffs, we're not traveling everywhere and doing all that stuff. So maybe it'll work out to be good. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. It works its way out. It's just you haven't got to go in front of crowds and get a consistent feel of a home game.
Right.
But that's another thing with adding the third tournament now. It kind of takes away one or maybe 2 home games. But I won't get on my thing about that extra tournament taken away. But tell us about some of the players, and Angel. And we'll talk about the Noble tournament here in a second. You guys won that one. Angel was the MVP of that one. But just talk about your players.
They're great. Obviously Angel is our, she's our point guard.
Yeah.
She's been very clutch in situations. So the good thing about her is she's so dry. She drives first, very drive first. I'm like, listen, you gotta shoot. You can have a good shot, and I think she's kind of doing that, and that's made her kind of unstoppable to this point. And then not only her, but we have pieces around her, so now people can't just go face guard her. They've got to guard Mariah. They've got to guard Ania. Ania knocked down 2 big 3-point shots. They got to guard Braden. Braden knocks down shots. They got to guard Kinley. Kinley knocks down shots. Elena, our senior, she's just been phenomenal. She dives on the floor. She gets rebounds. She locked down a Division I athlete in our McAllister game. It was just everybody's doing their role and doing it really, really good. And when they do that, it's really hard to beat a team like that. Yeah,
and you got the pieces there. You mentioned Angel, her ability to drive, and you want to collapse that when it happens. But if you collapse, you're going to leave one of those shooters out there.
Exactly.
And have you seen a lot of zone defense yet this year?
We have, yes. So zone is, I would run zone against us, to be honest. But we're shooting really good now. So it's hard to. And then you've got, Denise Doolittle. She's new to this year. She's our post player. She can get rebounds. Elena gets rebounds. It's hard to do anything against us when we're all working together. So that's exciting. So
we're talking offense. What about defensive side? What are we looking at on defense?
Defense, we're small.
Yeah.
So, but we're like little gnats. We
Yeah.
just press. We're trapping, we're diving on the floor. And that's a hard defense to teach a team because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's constant. But they've done it really, really well. I mean, and that's a kudos to them because it's one of those things like, listen, your mentality has to be they're not scoring. And
Yeah.
I can't coach that. You have to decide that.
Yeah.
And they have. So, I mean, and it's all across the board.
And another thing, just knowing the softball players and some of the basketball competitors, I think they
Yes.
compete well.
Yes, they do. And even, the kids that are younger that haven't gotten a lot of varsity time
Right.
yet, they're competitive because they are cross-country kids and they are softball kids. So they have that, athlete mentality.
Yep.
So when their time does come, next year or later this season, they're going to be ready too because they have that competitive mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. So take us Noble tournament. So it's this. You started off the season with Woodward tournament, finished third, lost that first one with Glenpool.
Yep.
But then won the next two. And trips to Woodward. I mean, you get away, you get to stay in a hotel with your group, and so you kind of build as a team. So you got the Woodward there, and then the Noble tournament. Take us through that. All 5A opponents too, so that helps when it comes later on to where does Guthrie go in postseason, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really good tournament for us. And like you said, 5A teams going against them is always good.
Yeah.
We played Mount St. Mary's first, and they had a good solid guard on there. They have a new coach as well. And, yeah, they zoned us, and I think we handled it pretty well, which is the first time I've seen us handle a zone well. So I was like, that's exciting. That's good. We're going to have to do that. And then Noble obviously came out our second game, and they're tough.
On their home floor.
On their home floor. They got all their guards played summer basketball this past summer. Their best player grew like 2 inches. It's just, I came out, I was like, who is this? And we handled that pretty well. So I was excited. And then Saturday, McAllister.
The defending 5A champs.
Defending 5A champs. They had most of their players back, their best player and their shooter, of course. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a good challenge for us. We're going to have to, that's what we talked about in the locker room, and say, listen, they're going to go on runs. They're good athletes. They're going to score. But how you, react to that and respond to that and battle adversity is what's going to determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
And I think there was one point, probably in the first quarter, maybe the second, we were down by like 12. And then we were down by 9 going into halftime. So I just told them, I was like, listen, we're not out of the game. You can't drop your head yet. We're going to go on a run too. You just got to weather the storm. And they did. And that was so exciting to see. And I think it was exciting for them to see it as well because they're like, oh, my gosh, we can do that.
We can do this.
You're right, yeah. So they're excited. Practices have been going good since then. I think the momentum is going, so I hope we can keep it.
So that was Saturday. You didn't play last night on Tuesday. It was probably you wish you just keep on playing with the momentum you have right now.
Yes.
But you got a big game this Friday in El Reno. So that we'll talk about that. Well, that anticipate going back to where you were for 3 years.
I'm excited. So
now, is El Reno going to know your plays? Are you going to know their plays? Are you going to be able to switch it up a little bit?
I know. I think there's going to be some trying to out-coach each other as far as knowing the plays. And I've been there, so sometimes I feel like I know, but they also have a completely new team this year.
Yeah.
Last year they were all guards. This year they're dominantly post, so they look very different. So there's a lot of stuff I don't know. But we went to scout them last night. So I told the girls, I was like, hey, I'm going to the El Reno Del City game. And immediately they're like, I want to go. And we had almost our whole team there watching them. So, and the coaches came up and talked to me because we stayed good friends. Jennifer's a great person. And we just kind of talked about our teams. And I think it'll be a rivalry for sure.
Yeah.
So, but a friendly one. We're not going to, flip out on each other.
Yeah, Guthrie El Reno's had a good, healthy series in all sports throughout the years. So everyone knows where everyone's gym's at. Everyone knows where everyone's baseball field's at. So it's been a good rivalry, and El Reno boys basketball has been dominant in years. Girls basketball has been dominant in years. So El Reno, Guthrie's very familiar with El Reno. I'm sure El Reno's familiar with Guthrie as well. So how's the transition been to Guthrie? Of course, you didn't get to see. You kind of saw the building process of the new foyer outside of the gymnasium, the new construction there, and you didn't see it without. Well, El Reno, you came up a few times with El Reno. New lighting, new floor, new chairs. That gym has really has come on the last few years.
Yeah, I'm excited. And exciting that my first year here, they're doing all that. It's just to see that transition. And as far as coming to Guthrie, it's been great. I'm very nervous when I first got here, but the Guthrie community is very welcoming.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're very tight knit, and you could just tell it's like a home feel here. And they've gone out of their way to help me. You know, people have helped me find rent houses. My administration's helped me, always supported us, came to all our games, you know, answered any questions I had, you know, dealt with my stressed out personality sometimes. And it's just been a great, I mean, I really like it here, and I couldn't have asked for better. So from the community especially.
Were you comfortable during the interview process? Was it, I mean, it go pretty smooth? I mean, you felt good?
Yeah. They showed me around. You know, Coach Chappell was there. I met Mr. Stimson and all them. So they were very nice and welcoming. And I like the fact that they all used to be coaches as well. So they kind of get it. So that was, you know, enticing as well.
Yeah. Well, I know I can keep asking you 50,000 questions. I know you got a schedule you want to keep, but we'll try to do this next week and talk about El Reno, and maybe we'll talk about a future home game. January 24th is when the Lady Jays will be on the floor for their second home game of the season. It's crazy.
I know. Yeah.
The regular season ends at like end of February, so this is really deep.
They're all going to be at the end. Yep. Yeah. Big old handful of them.
Which is good. I mean, get them out. You get all the road games out of the way, and then get all the home games at the end when it really matters and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you stopping by. Look forward to doing this a few more times throughout the regular season.
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Breck Clark, Lady Jays head basketball coach. They'll be on the road Friday as they take on the El Reno Indians. We appreciate you checking us out here, and tune in next time as we speak with head coach Breck Clark here on the Chris Evans Podcast.